See, it's why we double check things before we really get started. Audio was not working. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Even though nobody's listening or actively viewing right now, but welcome back to episode 2 of B Rave with D Rave here. Your boy Darwin Raven, bringing your Ravens coverage and NFL coverage. Today, we're going to be focusing primarily on coverage of the 2023 quarterback draft class, as well as hopefully towards the end of the stream, we're going to be getting into a coverage a little bit, hopefully, of what a Todd Monken offense may look like in Baltimore next year. And again, I apologize, guys. I'm already behind on my schedule for today and in film review. So we're going to be doing a little bit of this film review live. A little bit I've already got my notes on. So please bear with me as we work through it. I've started working out myself recently to try to just get back in shape and everything. Do need that fan on. Apologies. But yeah, with that being said, we are going to be covering several different quarterbacks today. We covered a little bit of Stroud yesterday. And honestly, at this point, I don't think anyone truly needs film review or study of CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. I mean, it's basically a lock 1 and 2. We all know that at this point. But after that, there's a little debate. So of course we all know Richardson's been kind of in that talk from a lot of NFL circles in regards. Welcome whoever my new viewer is. But there's been a lot of talk, of course, of Richardson being, 3, 4, 5. Is he later first round? I really think there's been a lot of smoke screens. I believe Maurice Jones-Drew, dropped his first mock draft today. Yep, MJD. We're going to go over, I guess, a little bit real quick of current news in the NFL as well. But Maurice Jones-Drew just dropped his mock draft 1.0, where he's got a couple different surprises, including Anthony Richardson, taken number 1 overall by the Carolina Panthers. He's doing this because of, apparently his glowing review. And I quote from Frank Wright, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, even before the combine, watching his tape, there are always plays and throws all over the tape that scream top of the draft pick. I think this is clearly a smokescreen by Frank Wright. I think he's just trying to garner more interest in, these top picks. I don't know if he's got something in mind, maybe, but I think it's very interesting. So, according to MJD's mock draft that he just dropped, the top 3 picks go as follows: Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, and Bryce Young, which, as we're going to break down here in just a little bit, guys, we're covering a little bit of the Richardson tape today. That's actually where we're going to start today for our draft coverage. We're going to be starting with Anthony Richardson, quarterback out of Florida. We're then going to be moving on to Hooker, of course, the University of Tennessee quarterback. After that, we're going to go check out my 49ers crew, one of their favorites, DTR. Then we're going to move on to Stetson Bennett out of the University of Georgia. And then it's going to be a little hard, guys. So you're going to have to bear with me towards the end of our draft coverage for quarterbacks today. I've been really high after watching the combine footage on a kid named Tyson Bagent. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, young man. But he comes from such a small school, guys, that he's not. If you go to ESPN and you put in his name, there are no stats. You can't get stats from ESPN on him because he's that small school. And what I thought was one of the most interesting observations from the NFL Combine this year was when I was watching Bajent throw. He was part of the Group 1 quarterbacks, which was Stetson Bennett, Cunningham out of Louisville, Duggan, Hayner, Hall, Levis, and Bagent. So Bagent actually being first in the alphabetical order was supposed to go first, from my understanding. But in a lot of the drills, he was not the first guy in line. So it was really awkward seeing the number 1 as the last thrower in all the drills. However, like I said, you could see a little bit of zip under that ball. And so I'm going to like show y'all real quick when, and my notes slowly improved as I was, learning my own process, I guess I should say. Trying to get it so it stays. There we go. So basically on every throw, slants, the 12-yard out, the rolled in, the bench route corner, the return pivot, the sail routes, the inside routes, the go routes, over the shoulders, gauntlets, pivot snag, 12-yard out. Like I took note on every single throw, basically rating it on it's all arrows, but in essence, it's a 5-point scale, with a flat line, meaning not good, not bad, kind of just what you expect to see, and and then a minus system. So then, of course, plus or minus, up or down arrow, but with in between grades of essentially negatives. Very rarely, though, you'll see on my sheet it's 2 up arrows. That means something about that throw really impressed me. And there's only a few of those throws. I also have those like on this page. It's actually for the wide receivers catching. I had to do a lot of film coverage on that, guys. I spent so many hours on NFL Plus just rewind. All right, what's case in point, getting all their names correctly, like trying to run as fast as I could. Go into my chat real quick. Baltimore Ravens Gunny in the chat, one of my old school followers. Hey, bud, been doing a lot of podcast hopping these past few days. Panthers fans feel like it's a smokescreen for Young and AR-15 being the pick. Hope all is well, though. So you think that the Panthers will actually take Richardson, you think? Is that what you're saying, Gunny? Or that the Richardson's a smokescreen and, of course, they're taking Young? Because we discussed a little bit yesterday, of course, Bryce Young, canceled all his remaining pre-draft visits. The only visits he had were with Carolina, the Houston Texans, and if I'm not mistaken, pick number 7, the Las Vegas Raiders, were the only 3 teams he visited. And of course, once he canceled his visits, I think it was like someone told him and I think there's a little truth to that. Someone told him, hey, you're the pick. Don't worry about it. Like, you are our guy. Here's the playbook. Get started on it. Like, But I'm so excited. Gunny, definitely drop in on draft day. We are going to be doing a live podcast as well, guys, with me, Joe Stevens from over at Seahawks Talk, I think, as well as a few potential 49er fans. Gunny, I don't know if you saw on Ravens.com too that they have a new writer who's doing draft coverage. Actually, he just posted, I believe, his second article today. Actually, you know what? I wanna plug him like super hard, so I'm actually gonna go find his article so I can plug him correctly. Cole Jackson is his name. Look him up on Twitter as well, guys. Really cool guy. He, I think, just started getting featured on BaltimoreRavens.com for his draft film review series. But yeah, Gunny, I reached out to Cole Jackson on Twitter, and no guarantees, but he potentially might be doing a call-in on our draft show potentially. I basically said if the Ravens stay in the first round and make a selection that night, I asked him if he, would you mind calling into our YouTube live show and, kind of just talking to pick a little bit, whoever it is. And he was actually super friendly, super nice. He was like, yeah, man, nope. Just let me know, like, seems like honestly such a standout guy. Like, so shout out to Cole Jackson. Um, but yeah, so I really don't know. I think in that draft, mock draft 2 by MJD, by the way, we end up taking Addison. I'm putting money Baltimore trades out of the first round. I'm putting money on it, especially Gunny. I don't think you were here yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to watch episode 1, we're calling this B Rave with D Rave now. I was trying to think of a very catchy name that was not taken by any other Baltimore Raven content creators. So we discussed yesterday, Gunny. Actually, we did it on overthecap.com. We worked out the long-term 5-year deal for Lamar Jackson. With that, we also did contract restructures of Ronnie Stanley and Marlon Humphrey. And we went ahead and added through Over the Cap DeAndre Hopkins to the Baltimore Ravens roster. And did some moves basically freeing up. We had essentially $12 million in cap after all the moves. We had Lamar Jackson for 5 years, DeAndre for 2 years, and actually had to give up no draft picks potentially to the Arizona Cardinals for DeAndre Hopkins. Let me ask you, Gunny, if you're still there, give me like anything in chat. I want to ask you a question, see how you feel about it as one of my one of my few resident Baltimore Raven fans. I'm also taking a look here. Daniel Jeremiah apparently had a conference call. He answered questions for an hour and a half previewing the draft, basically during a media conference call. And basically they were kind of talking about a few different topics, kind of like what the Texans will do. I think it's insanely interesting. So like case in point, if the Texans truly are fine not taking a quarterback at 2 and like maybe taking Will Anderson, Tyree Wilson, does the potential for a trade open up? If a team's willing to be like, hey, yeah, we'll trade up to make sure we can get Will Anderson, like, I think that's going to be an interesting spot. Yeah, and they're saying that there's a little bit of noise about CJ Stroud falling down drafts. They said he says that's a smokescreen as well. That it's basically a lock. He doesn't get past 4. No, so basically in the trade, I can't change the base salary to start with. But all the, from my understanding, prorated and other things like that do stay with Arizona. So it's a worst case, we take 19 million, 14 million. And you know how I like to do it. I like to pose worst case. But in the trade, I also, supposedly Arizona is looking for a second round pick plus something of value. Kind of like the original DeAndre Hopkins trade from the Texans, I think. With that being said, Baltimore doesn't have picks. We have 5 picks. We don't even have a second round pick this year. We like our picks. We're going to need our picks a little bit. So we have to, the first thing is something of value. And I know it might be a little controversial, but Tyus Bowser's been on my radar for a while with a $6 million cap hit, which is not terrible. But with David Ajabo and Owe being the future of outside linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens for the next 3 to 5 years, or 3 to 4 years, and again, nothing against Bowser. Bowser's played well. I actually think Bowser would succeed more in a 4-3 system better than a 4-3-4 because he does have really good pass coverage skills, while also being a pretty good pass rusher, and of course, solid tackler. So in the trade package, I packaged Tyus Bowser, and then again, I don't have a second round pick, so I'm trying to find something of value, and then it hit me. If we trade for DeAndre Hopkins, and we have Rashad Bateman, and we have Odell Beckham for 1 year, and we have Nelson Aguilar, that's already a pretty crowded receiver room, plus maybe drafting 1 wide receiver. That's a really crowded wide receiver room for Devin Duvernay, James Prochet, and Tylan Wallace. With that being said, of course, which one's the most valuable of the bunch? Duvernay. Originally, I wanted to package Prochet in the deal. However, I think they would rather, of course, have Duvernay. And so it's kind of you're trading wide receiver for wide receiver, a younger guy that is a Pro Bowl returner with also, I think, is a great receiver that just never got his true ability to shine in Baltimore. And then, of course, an outside linebacker, which I think is kind of a need for them as well. I think it's a win-win deal. I think 2 players for 1. I think Devin Duvernay's second round talent. I think Tyus Bowser's kind of a second round talent as well. Um, and they're both on pretty good deals, so it's not like they're terrible deals. Duvernay's going to need a deal soon, but I think that would get the deal done, in my opinion, for no draft picks. And then, of course, we're freeing up a little bit of cap space, only like I think 7 to 8 million, 7 to 9 maybe, potentially with that. But that's still a good chunk back. And again, in my workings, it would leave Baltimore with approximately $12 million to still sign the draft class, which wouldn't be as much if we trade out of the first round, and go get a few other guys re-sign, maybe like Kyle Fuller. You might be able to bring Houston back. So, basically your outside linebackers would be Owe, Ojabo, Houston, and then of course we have Dalen Hayes still, but I would like to bring in another guy because edge is really, really deep in this draft, guys. Like the deepest position in this draft by far by most NFL analysts and scouts. Yep, I'm very happy for Cole Jackson as well. Um, yeah, like Gunny, actually on the Lamar deal, I introduced a void year onto the deal for the very end, just for a little bit of flexibility. However, over the cap will not allow me to do 2 things when I'm making that contract for Lamar, and that's do anything with the void year, basically, which of course gives me a ton of flexibility and allows Lamar, if he wants to hit the market back at a really, really good time, which I think he wants to. And then secondly, um, it won't allow me to take the roster signing bonus, which is allocated as a prorated bonus over every year of the contract except the void year. That number fluctuates on the actual NFL contracts every year, even though it's all guaranteed at signing. Yeah. All right, but with that, it says I have 0 viewers. I'm gonna crack. Oh no, I don't need to crack. I still have an old one. We're going to go ahead and get into this draft coverage. So, as I mentioned, we're going to be starting with Anthony Richardson today, quarterback out of Georgia. So, with most of these quarterbacks, I'm trying to pick about 3 games and kind of, really discuss those games. So what I had to do is I had to first start with their QBR and ratings for the games. Rating and QBR, of course, slightly different in how the numbers go into it. So I tried to pick kind of one of their worst games statistically, one of their best games statistically, and then just what I thought was a good game. Not their best rating or lowest rating, kind of middle, higher side of the pack, but against a good opponent. So with that being said, Richardson's coverage today is going to be against University of Georgia. I know my YouTube counter is weird. University of Georgia, you're going to see a lot in my film coverage today, guys, because it's just a lot of these top quarterbacks played them, and it's a good measuring line. If everyone played basically the same team, good measuring line. So that's going to be actually Richardson's hard game. One of his better games actually is going to be against the University of Tennessee, which, of course, had the upset against Bama, and definitely going to show us some good tape. And then his worst game came against the University of Kentucky is the highlight tape I'm going to use, which I believe they were ranked number 20 in the film coverage, which we'll get to see here shortly. But we're going to start with the University of Georgia, which I actually did these notes on him quite a bit ago. But you're going to see very quickly here that the University of Florida is outmatched very quickly. Like, let me see. Booyah! We got footage. So what you might see me doing here as well, guys, pardon if I'm calling left, right, and it doesn't seem correct. What I'm might be doing, if I can't, I think I have it lined up nice today. But I'm going to be trying to make sure you can truly see his footwork and everything that I'm seeing. And I know in some quarters, depending on, which way down the field he's facing, my head might be in the way. So if I'm in the way, just yell at me. But you're going to see very quickly that Georgia is dominating Florida across the board. This is going to be a hard game for him. While I did have some critiques, it's easy to see that, like, he needed some help. He really needed some help. Make sure I got... That's the Tennessee tape. Okay. So I want to lead with this too. His strongest. So real quick, guys, I want to answer actually Baltimore Ravens Gunny had a good question in chat. Baltimore Ravens Gunny said, what area of throws is AR strongest? So actually, I think I had another new note on him from watching his Kentucky tape. He actually could throw a really good out route, which we're going to talk about, shows like he's going to have a throw in Kentucky at 14:01 in the second quarter. That's going to be a good example of the out route drill you saw at the combine, as well as one of the notes I have here against the Kentucky game is he looks really good in that quick short screen game, which he struggles a little bit. So what I mean with that is his throws at or behind the line of scrimmage, when you move him to a fast-paced offense, quick throws, which you're going to see that Florida had to do several times to protect him, not only in this game, but some of the other games we're going to watch. His at or behind the line throws are really accurate with good speed. It kind of reminds me of what RG3 used to do a little bit. I remember one game, RG3 with the Redskins way back in the day. 7 out of his 10 first throws were at or behind the line of scrimmage because in Kyle Shanahan's offense, they ran a very strong wide receiver screen game to keep the defensive backs honest, which you can even see right now in this tape. You would do the same here because look how deep that corner is on the outside wide receiver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 10 yards deep. I'm telling you right now, I'd think about just throwing the screen right there, especially with a guy coming in motion across the field. But let me check one more thing to answer your question because, like I said, I took notes on every single throw of the quarterbacks. So that he was a day 2 thrower. The only throw, what's kind of funny, is he throws a really good out route here. The only throw I have him negatively marked on for day 2 quarterbacks at the combine was actually his out routes. He's threw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different balls on the out route throughout the entire drill. Of those, 1 marked even, 1 marked down, and 4 marked up. I mean, most of his throws looked really good at the combine, but the combine's not the true test. Film tells you a lot more than that, and, that I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But yeah, with that, let's get into some film coverage here, guys. So we got a 1st and 10, 11:44 here, Florida versus Georgia. You're actually going to see, I feel bad for Richardson a little bit. There's going to be a couple dirty shots here by the University of Georgia early, in my opinion, against Richardson. So I truly feel bad for the young man a little bit here. But let's watch it. I'm trying to see. Okay. He had some really good outlet throws apparently in this film, but Georgia is just so fast to the ball. So right off the rip, I think on this throw of 11:44 first, shows his ability to make guys miss. Let's watch it one time at full speed. Having a roll, steps up, pulls the guy off. Like, look at that. That looks like Lamar. Like, that absolutely kind of looks like a Lamar throw. And right there's the dirty shot. Look at him, back of his legs, buckling out of bounds. No flag by the refs, by the way. But not really much running there. I want to show that hit again. Let's look right here. He is clearly going out of bounds. The player is coming in low already. Out of bounds at the knees. Oh, and like that sets a tone earlier. I felt bad for this young guy. He was running for his life in this game. I really 11:21 in the first. My apologies. When I was doing these first round of notes, I was not at my best. So I'm going to watch this one just more full speed and then we'll review. And, you know, not a terrible throw, but the guy was coming downhill. Yeah, he's not terrible. I get why people like him. The measurables are there. He's big. He's strong. He's got a big arm. Let me see if I can find my notes again on... My notes are so disorganized. I apologize, everyone. I just have a lot of notes on a lot of different things as I do these streams or try to. That's defensive ends, pass rush drills, linebackers. Where the heck are my quarterback notes again? Wide receivers. There they are. Okay. So on deep balls for Richardson, his farthest deep ball hit at approximately the 30-yard line. The strongest thrower of the entire combine was C.J. Stroud. In comparison, C.J. Stroud's ball went to the 27. With the average probably being about like 38 yards. So, you know, being able to put the ball that far deep really does help. However, the analysts did make several notes that his footwork was already having some issues at the combine. So it's one of the ones for Anthony Richardson. I would really advocate definitely late round first pick for sure. But with a top 5 pick, I don't know. I think it's a hard evaluation. I'm not overly familiar with the Florida roster. And you're going to see actually in a few of these tapes, he stares down some of his wide receivers. He kind of has a little bit of a habit of that. So here we are. Another throw. A little short. Now again, look how fast that pass was to his halfback. Really good outlet throw. I mean, his halfback's got a few yards. But watch Georgia just closes. Good tackle. 3rd and 16. So trying to push downfield. Rushed. Little outlet throw. Not terrible. Gets it to his guy that he can keep moving. Nothing spectacular in those 2 throws, but nothing bad. That's one of those ones. The only positive mark I really have is good zip on the throws. I mean, I like the little flick, but good zip. So here we are in another 3rd and 9, play action. Again, pressure. Look at this pocket. I'm going to slide out of the way. Look at this pocket. That's not a great pocket. You got one guy absolutely about to hit you, 2 guys barreling down straight in your line of sight, and another guy fighting your left tackle for his life. I'm going to back it up, though, because I want to make sure we're watching. You could literally, guys, by the way, dedicate probably a whole film session just to trying to watch a quarterback's eyes. You know, a lot of my problem is when I'm trying to prep my film and I haven't had the proper amount of time. Like, this play I could probably watch 5 times over because you need to watch his eyes. You need to watch his footwork. You need to watch the wide receivers' routes. You need to watch the offensive line. You need to pay attention to how the defensive lined up originally. You need to pay attention to how all the defensive backs shifted, where are the linebackers going. Like, there's so many things when you're really watching the film correctly, in my opinion, to truly understand what's happening every play. So Georgia in a very odd little front here. It seems like they know to pressure him a certain way is what it looks like to me, but so play action, but watch his eyes. His eyes haven't moved, and then I think he sees this guy. I don't know if he's looking at the guy or his crosser. I think his crosser. So he stared down the middle, then moved to there. Not bad if he's trying to free the crosser, but he goes down the middle, and he delivers a high ball, a very high ball. But again, collapsing pocket, can't really argue there. Let's try to watch the, let me slide out here. Let's try to watch the footwork a little bit here. Looking good. Sees the guy. He's putting a lot of pressure on the back foot to climb. Steps up a little bit. Still looking good, in my opinion, footwork-wise. And I think right here, he's got a guy coming at him. He's trying to deliver a ball further downfield. Definitely, I get it. It's 3rd and 9. He's trying to get the first down. They're already down 14-0. And you're going to see that very quickly in this tape, guys, is that in this game, they go down hard and quick. And at that point, you got to try to get some stuff done. So some throws, we're going to talk about in the film coverage, he's going to force a little bit. I think this is one of them. Let me see here. 11 questionable throw, 11:33. Okay, now most that goes back into the second. So yeah, this is a high ball, and then I've got more notes starting in the second quarter about more of his stuff. So you don't really fault him here. He's trying to get the first down, trying to keep them in the game. God forbid they can't, punt again to Georgia at this point. Where you'd love to see him deliver that throw, though, let's see if we can get it. I'm going to actually slow this down to a 0.75 playback speed. So it slows up a little bit here. And I think he gets hit as he lets that ball go. Lucky this guy's not looking back for the ball. I wish I had a marker to really show this better. But, yeah, unfortunate on that. But, like I said, you're going to see he's running for his life. He took a few dirty hits here and there. All right, 14:53. I don't have any notes on this. My next one's 11:21, so it's probably soon. 1st and 10. You can already see we got a blitz coming off the corner here. Let's see. Left tackle's picking it up good. We got a play action roll. And smartly throws it away. That might be an intentional grounding in the NFL, but you got to be careful of that. Like I said, in the NFL, that might be grounding. All right, 14:45. And again, look at we're 2nd and 23 now here. They might have got him for grounding there. He's climbing. That's a good throw. Let's watch that back one more time. We're going to slow that one down a little. That's a good example, in my opinion, of a good throw. So, little play action. He's got his eyes downfield. He's watching. But again, you're not really seeing a lot of movement left and right on these eyes. But maybe he knows he's got to throw really good. But those eyes look like they've been staring down the same guy since snap. But, I don't know if you can... Yeah, you can see it. Look at how beautiful. Everything else is blurry. That ball is spiraling so nicely, so quickly, that you can actually get a good image of it here in this freeze frame. The ball has good zip, and he climbed the pocket and gave a ball, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably like 20 plus yards downfield, and got it on the money in close coverage because that guy diving to try to stop it. So good throw there. Got another throw, so he's getting pressured right away. Rolls out to the left. He's telling his guy to move. And again, you want to kind of see him hit that throw there. But again, he's running for his life, 3rd and 12. I want my quarterback to hit that throw, but I get it's really hard to hit that throw when you're running to, the left, not the right. And the flag on the play. So 11:48. I have notes on this one. Thought I did. 11:21. So coming up. And see, he might be making reads with his eyes. And that's one of those ones I don't have the full 22 camera angles right now for this film. And that would be a great way because, once these on this angle, basically watching mostly him, once they're more than 5 to 10 yards downfield, I can't see the wide receivers anymore unless the ball goes to them. So it's kind of hard for me to know where the routes are because, of course, maybe everything is right there in the middle of the field and he's supposed to just kind of almost make like a read right there and then find his guy crossing basically. But we're going to see in case in point, I've already done some of Hendon Hooker's film tape prepping. Hendon's got some good snap, like understands that he is supposed to look somebody off for the throw. But that's not to say Richardson doesn't do that. I think he was just a little overwhelmed in this game, and we're going to see in some of the other games that he does do a little bit of that. If you're actually looking for a really, really good coverage of quarterbacks, Kurt Warner actually is running, I think, a YouTube channel now doing exactly what I'm doing here, film coverage breakdown. All right, so here we have play action. He's making the read. Rolling out. And you're going to see they started rolling him out, going to quick, shorter passes at some points because they're trying to protect him, but they're already down 21-0. And throw a little behind his guy, but I mean in tight coverage with this defender here. Like I said, Georgia's not going to be the best tape for him. It's not terrible tape, though, because again, it's Georgia. But it's one of those ones when you watched Levis play against Georgia in 2021, you can kind of see why you might think Levis might be better than Richardson. Short little outlet pass, accurate, right on his chest. They actually got a first down. Moving. All right, now this one I have a... So one of the things that I saw repetitively, I think literally it's like the tail of the tape in Florida or this one. He has a tendency to sail some balls. Like I literally wanted to make a joke about how many balls he can sail. Which might be, again, part of his footwork issue. Not bending that front leg a little bit. And if I'm not mistaken, according to my notes here, he's going to miss high again from a very clean pocket. So this time, Georgia's only bringing 4. I mean, and this is what I said. Look at the pocket right here. That is a nice and very clean pocket. No one coming. All day, 1st and 10. And the throw, high. Look at... Now, don't be wrong. I understand this is like a little bit of a finesse throw. You got to put a little touch to make sure. But there is 1, 2, 3, 4 yards in every direction minimum where there's no one around the wide receiver. This is just hitting the go route on a team that is up 21-0 and kind of probably playing like basic cover 3 at this point. This is a throw I expect a top 5 quarterback to hit almost every time. And he missed high bad from a very clean pocket. I'm going to play this back one time at full speed. Let's watch again. Clean pocket. Missed high. One more time. And you got a guy kind of right here diving at him, but he's already... Look, the ball's already 3 yards past him. So that ball's out. It was normal. He was probably felt good. The problem comes if you look at this leg, this front leg. I wish I could zoom in on it a little more, guys. That leg bent 10% more, maybe. That ball hits the mark, in my opinion. But that's where it's one of those ones. That's where the accuracy and discrepancies, and something actually Lamar has had struggles with, in my opinion. That's where the problem comes. And so, again, ball sails heavy on him. Maybe and again, from one thing I have understood, his wide receiver core there in Florida was garbage, from my understanding. I don't know how true that is. So we're going to have a questionable throw here on this one. But again, they're down 21-0. Second and 10. He's trying to make something happen here. A little bit of pressure. Rolls out, though. Going deep. Okay. But it works out. His guy bails him out, but he underthrew the ball heavily to a double coverage. In the NFL, that's intercepted, I'm telling you, most of the time. Most of the time. Again, questionable throw, but like I said, he's down 21-0. He knows he's got to make something happen here. But it is a good example of how strong his arm can be. Because let's see. Let's do the math here on that throw. So he's rolling out. He is approximately on his own 10-yard line. So we're going to measure this basically from 10. I guess you could technically argue he's at his 12, but for easy math, 10. We're past the 50, so that's 40 yards in the air right now. This ball lands basically on the 25 of the opponent's side of the field. So that was basically a 65-yard air throw. Yeah, I like to be able to see that from my quarterback. And that's what makes scouts drool a little bit, is that he could put a ball 65 in the air if he's got a clean pocket. Throw a max protection package in there designed for him with a potential rollout option. He can chuck it. My next note doesn't come till 8:20 in the second, so we're going to just let these play through a little bit. Short pass, good. Hit his man in stride. Georgia, like I said, though, just really fast on him. Okay, so here's the 8:20 throw. He throws a dime to the left outside over number 5. So he's actually going to throw this ball, guys, over Ringo, who is considered one of the better cornerbacks in this draft class on the left side. So my thing cuts it out here at the top of the screen. So at the top of the screen, you've got press coverage, Kyle Rango against his wide receiver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys coming for Georgia. Halfbacks, looks like he's got, some protection here. Good clean pocket, delivers a good throw to the outside on just a go route, And with the guy right there, look at Kyle Rango, too, trying to make a play on this ball. But, man, dime, ladies and gentlemen. And that's, again, why NFL scouts are saying first-round talent. Because give the young man a clean pocket and, if he's in his stride, basically, that's the thing too with like more arm throwers when their footwork's not as good, their arm's so superb if they just kind of get in a rhythm. It's like Lamar. When Lamar gets in a rhythm, dude, he's deadly. He is deadly. But this is a dime, and I'm gonna play that back and just let that run one more time here. Yeah. This is one of the few throws. And again, this is against Georgia. This is against a potential first-round corner who is in tight coverage. These are the throws you want to see when you have, AKA your number one guy. Your guy that when he's one-on-one, you trust him to go up and get it. And especially when he gets like the half step he needs to basically get the leverage ahead of the corner. And here we go. I'm just gonna be quiet and let y'all watch the dime one time. I want to make one more note of that throw. I don't think I have it written down. Yeah, I don't have the note on it, but I'm going to get it. Okay, that's the short pass. Sorry we're jumping back and forth. And that's one of the things, man. I feel like I end up taking so much time because I'm trying to examine so many things, and then I'm like hours in and I've only done like 2 people, and I'm like, this is why I was supposed to start like months ago on this. So when he makes this throw, he's at approximately his 18-yard line. Again, go route, 18-yard line, past the 50, ball's at the 36, basically the 35. So again, he's putting that ball far and on the money on that one. Next note comes at 7:05, so I don't think it's this one, but the next one. And right there, he makes two reads. He makes the initial read where he's trying to play action the halfback on that little out pass, and then he looks back at him basically. Little bit of a high throw, pressured, but the next throw is what we're going to focus on more after this. Oh, actually, wow, my next note doesn't come till the third, so I'm going to let this play through. My next note doesn't come till 7:05 in the third. Pressured, of course, Jalen Carter doing Jalen Carter things up the middle. I remember guys, when I started watching the tape, all of a sudden, I knew Jalen Carter, but I didn't know his number, and I was like, God, I knew he was a defensive lineman, so I didn't expect him to be wearing 88. I don't know why. And I was like, God, who is this 88? This guy looks big. He looks like a huge linebacker. And then I was like, man, why is a linebacker lining up on the line? Like 3 technique. And then, of course, I saw his name flash one time on the jersey. I was like, oh, now I get it. Now I get why everyone is so hyped about this young man. And I started watching his tape, and I'm like, yeah. It's unfortunate about the racing and all that stuff, but we're going to take a drink while we're letting this play out. First and 10. They're in the third quarter now. Short little pass screen. Good, accurate throw on time. Results in a first down. First and 10. Still in the third. Looking deep on the throw. Guy on the left side and overthrows him a little bit. Let me see here. That's literally the same route. Same throw. So let's actually, I don't want to lose so I'm at 2:28 in the video. I don't want to lose my spot here. So let's watch his knee. So I want you to see, I want to compare this. It's kind of hard for you to see because the Georgia defender, but you can kind of see how straight, that leg is straight as can be, his front leg. Let's see if I can go back. Where was the dime throw with 8:20 in the second? I want to compare it to the dime throw because it's the exact same route. All right, there's the throw. Let's watch his front leg on this throw. His hips are turned more towards the ball. Legs still straight, but I'd argue that has a tiny bit more bend in it than he does in the other throw. Let's try to watch here. Transfer. Just the rotation looks good. I can't see his knee, though, after the throw because he turns. So then we go to 2:28 in the video. Let's watch the difference in the throw. So pretty decent pocket, a little more pressure. Got time, though. Maybe because he's on that hash, he doesn't turn his body as much. But it just doesn't look the same as he lets that ball go with his legs. And it results in an overthrown ball there. First and 10, looking deep again and again. Another ball sailing on him. That's why I said the tail of the tape showed a lot of sailed balls. And again, God, I wish that helmet wasn't right there because he's got good bend leading up to it. Let's watch footwork. Looks good. Plants. I feel like there was something wrong there, though, right at the, maybe it's not the drive up. I just felt like he didn't really plant on the back foot well. I think it's good, though. I think it's just me. But look at his knees. Everything's looking good. He's got good stance. Stands up. Right here, he's popping up a little bit, which that's okay. Good plant. Got really good bend right here on that front leg, as you can see. And then when he whips, man, he's straightening and standing up is what's happening. And I think that changes his launch angle here, and he tries to adjust subconsciously every time. And ball sails. So let's watch the next throw because we know it sails too. So again, footwork, plant. Plant looked a little shallower. Didn't look like there was a good transfer. So here again, so if you look at that last throw where he kind of set his base and then where we were talking about really good bend, I feel like he never set the base the same, which it might have been a different step throw. I don't know their playbook, and I'm not good enough to know. But let's run it back just 5 seconds. Let's see if he pops up again. Doesn't look like it, but it just something doesn't look good on it, and kind of misses that throw. He could have let his boy a little inside, it looks like. Ball's high, and that could have been an interception there. But again, Dude Man's also down 28-3. Let's not get it twisted, guys. You're trying to make something happen at this point. It's going to be a run play. I could care less about his run play. I'm looking for 7:05 in the third is going to be my next note on him in the Georgia game. Ooh! And this is one of the dirty hits, guys, I was mentioning. You cannot even argue this is dirty. For anyone that can't watch on my coverage, we're 51 minutes into the coverage. We're at 12:50 in the third quarter, 4th and 4. And, dude, this is dirty. He's looking back at the ref. They've called it. Several flags get thrown. They just hit him. This game's over. That was a dirty play. You know what? I might skip and ahead because I'm already running a little behind. I need to get to 7:05 in the third. So here we got a run play. Now, again, Georgia is now 28-10. The game's a little closer. So here's the play I'm looking for. So the note is he tries to look off but never sees Ringo drop. So I believe Kyle Ringo is going to be here at the top of the screen. He's just going to be in a zone coverage, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just watch. So we got a motion here on the play. A little bit of play action. He's looking at the halfback right here. No real pressure, it looks like. Looks like really good pocket. Snaps back to the middle of the field. Cool. Looks like he made 2 reads, in my opinion, because I saw slight movement. He's looking left, but he never sees Kyle Ringo right here. Look how open this halfback is, guys. I think even his halfback has got his hands down going, what? Are you serious? Because even if, before this throw started, Ringo at best was probably right here. More than 10-yard difference, basically. Give your man a chance, man. That's your halfback against a corner. I'd take that ball every day. But he tries to force one in here. Never sees Ringo dropping. Ringo makes a great play on the ball. Almost makes an interception. Play it back one more time. Again, you got to see that easy throw, and you got to take the easy throw sometimes. You're down 18 points with 7 minutes left in the third. That is not a terrible deficit to overcome. And this is 2nd and 8, so it's not like it's a third down, and you have to get the first down. You just got to get positive yards. And again, he is, right at this point, in my opinion, staring down the crosser. Which, again, great if you have it. But you got to look and do something else. Right here, he sees that guy probably breaking on the back of the end zone towards that left outside pylon. But like I said, he never sees Ringo at this point. Ringo is slightly covered by my follower count at the top, guys. You can kind of see his feet right there. At the moment where the throw is starting, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, approximately 12 yards between his halfback and Kyle Ringo. Give the ball to your halfback. Staring it down, though. Throws it. He probably sees Ringo now as he let the ball go. And that ball is either intercepted or your your wide receiver is entering concussion protocol. I'd be having to worry my quarterback and be like, bro, how'd you not see that corner? It wasn't even near your halfback. That gave me pause when I saw that play, though, kind of what you were mentioning a little bit, Gunny, that, can he make the reads? Which, yeah, sometimes quarterbacks struggle with that. But we saw in the NFL, I forgot who it was last year. They struggled with the same thing, someone coming back and across the field. And I think Baltimore ended up with several interceptions against, was it Dalton, I think? No. Somebody. Might have been Dalton. Anyway. So my next note comes at 14:57 in the fourth, which will be coming up here actually shortly. So I'll just let this play through. Again, pressured, moving up in the pocket. Again, good movement in the pocket right there. Delivers a decent ball. Well, could have been better. At this point, they're down 35-20 entering the fourth quarter. Here we are on a 2nd and 7. He's going to have to slide to his left, which is literally, guys, this is a quarterback drill. Watch his footwork. This is a quarterback drill they do all the time in practice. Snap, drop, nothing. You've got pressure right. You got to slide left while stepping up slightly and deliver. And honestly, so again, he sails one here. But this is one of the ones, again, where it made me question, what are his wide receivers like? If you had a guy on your team that could fly downfield, that makes me salivate because I just saw a quarterback. Let me go back just a little more to the very start of the play. So a bunch package here by Florida, 2 guys in the backfield, motioning a 3rd guy through the backfield when you start the play. So you're faking jet sweep, basically option to the right. At this point, Georgia is rushing 4. 2 guys are watching the backfield. 3 guys are watching the backfield. Georgia defender right here realizes there's no threat potentially at this moment other than a QB scramble, which it doesn't look like he is. These 2 Georgia defenders are going with their guys, as is this guy. Pretty clean pocket here, but gets interior pressure, so he can't climb the pocket traditionally vertically. So he's got to slide a little to his left, replant the feet, and throw. And then, yes, he misses the throw, but man, is that throw deep. Because again, let's watch. He's at his 40. Again, kind of good bend in the front knee a little bit, but his just footwork looks like he's a little too much on his toes. Launches a ball with good air. He's on his own 40. So there's 10 yards. Ball lands past the 10-yard line. So again, he just delivered with interior pressure a throw of what? Like 50 yards, basically, 51 yards with interior pressure and having to slide. Again, he missed. But if maybe his wide receiver was 1.5 steps faster, that'd have been a beautiful touchdown throw. And so that's one of the ones where if you look at that throw and say, well, he missed, that sucks. Bad throw. You're not taking a good look. Hey, Joe Stevens just joined us in the chat. What's up, Joe? We're covering potentially your guy, Joe Richardson. For anyone that doesn't know, didn't join us yesterday, or doesn't join us on our normal Monday night collab, Joe Stevens is a Seattle Seahawks content creator. Definitely go check him out. And of course, Anthony Richardson has been linked to the Seattle Seahawks several times throughout this process. This is one of those throws, like I said, Joe, it makes you, he could be really good. But again, that's what makes Coach salivate, and that's why all these draft scouts are saying, he's got the measurables. The dude can deliver a ball. It's just, and then again, from my understanding, those wide receivers aren't the best. So we're on a 4th and 6 here now. I'm slightly blocking it. In the fourth quarter, he again got to try to make something happen here. Trying to see if I have any other notes. My next note doesn't come till 1:14 garbage time in the fourth. So I'm not even going to bother with that section of the tape. Again, look at the dude, man, running for his life. Running for his life. You know, with that, I'm going to move to his next section of tape. And my apologies, guys, for like how that was all done. My next sections of tape, actually Tennessee. I'm going to just jump to Kentucky. Tennessee was good. Tennessee, we're going to just cover real quick the highlights that I wrote down. Let's just go like that. And then we'll actually go to the Kentucky tape where I started my real coverage. In Tennessee, he had really good drill throws. The thing is, in Tennessee, he had a lot of wide receiver drops. And the thing is, when he does miss, he's missing like in the right way. He's not throwing short and putting balls that can be intercepted. He's putting it where either his guy gets it or nobody does, which is a trait I do like in a quarterback. He sails a lot of throws, though. He sails some and throws a good bit of 50-50 balls. But as I noted, if you have a true number one wide receiver on your roster, it actually will work out. So in the essence of the Seattle Seahawks, put him with with DK Metcalf, and he might be throwing bombs and jump balls to DK all day long, potentially. At 4:20 in the second quarter, he had a dart. He showed really good awareness in the Tennessee game to get the ball away and not take negative plays, which of course it seemed like he struggled with a bit in the Georgia game and the Kentucky game, which we're going to show shortly. But again, so Tennessee was like the really good tape. If you want to go watch tape, guys, he showed the strength to pull away for a second from guys, kind of like what you used to see from Big Ben a lot and a little bit from Cam Newton. At 36 seconds left in the third on a 4th and 2, he throws a bomb. And I put a note, freeze frame on his body for his posture of how he should be throwing. You know what? I'm literally going to just go find that. And we're going to just, so I got to find 12:46 here is what I'm looking for in the first part of the Tennessee game. All right, so here we have him against Tennessee. I would absolutely. Baltimore Gunny asked if he was drafted by the Seahawks, would he sit behind Geno or start? In my opinion, I would still have him sit. I think Geno has absolutely earned the right to be the starter, as with his extension. And I think Richardson could tremendously benefit from sitting for a year, watching, learning the more complex NFL systems, and really focusing a lot on his footwork and learning the offense, basically. I wouldn't really want to start him week 1. He maybe could, but I'm going to tell you, against the NFL defense, I think if he had to start week 1, I think he would struggle. It's why, again, I don't really support him being a top 5 quarterback, but I support him being a first-round quarterback, absolutely. So he's going to run here. 13:30. We're going to fast forward through that play. Of course, it's like too far. Oh, yeah, it's another run play. All right, so 12:38. Oh, in the second, I think. Can't see if that's a second or first. Guess we'll find out in a minute. Nope, it's in the second. Apologize, guys. My stuff's loading. Still got to jump forward here. I'm just really quickly, because I did these notes months ago on Anthony Richardson, so we're going to just jump to the highlight plays a little more here. That's the throw. So this is one of the throws, guys, where I'm like, this is literally, again, an example of a quarterback drill. So watch here. Foreman on the line, potentially another guy coming off the edge, 2 linebackers. You got play action. He's making the read, so a potential option play here. His right tackle loses miserably right off the rip. Halfback's got him, though. Does a good job staying calm. A little bit wide with his footwork here, but he knows he's going to have to step up. Steps up. A little left or right left. Just wave. Slides back left. Gets pressured. Slides back right in a very tight pocket. Delivers a ball to his man. That's pure arm talent as well as really good footwork. And like I said, my note on that throw is literally, that is a drill. That is a drill you probably practice all the time in practice, and that is a practice drill carrying over to a game. That's why on this one, this is his really good tape. Because like I said, he put some practice drills on the tape. So great throw there. The next throw I have marked for him doesn't come till 5:10 in the second quarter. He's playing a pretty good game here, so we got the play here. And that's why I was like, this is either a bad miss or it's the wide receiver's fault. 1st and 10, 5:13. Florida's up 14-10. Shotgun set. Tennessee is bringing a blitz. They've got 5 people coming. Good pocket. Delivers a throw. And again, he misses this out route horribly. Now, why I said this could be the wide receiver's fault, maybe his wide receiver wasn't fast enough. The depth of the throw might not have been right. Or again, this could be a really bad miss by him. Yeah, I'm not mirroring at all today. I'm just trying to stay out of the way if I can. So like I said, that was either a really bad miss on an easy throw in a clean pocket, or it was the wide receiver not running the route correctly. 420. Oh, happy 420 for anyone that... So I think this is our next throw on tape here. This is what I called a dart. So shotgun set. Again, Tennessee's bringing 5. So he's got his 5 plus a halfback. A little bit of a stunt on the right. Someone reading the halfback. He's getting pressure. Dart. Right on the outside shoulder pad. Allows his wide receiver to turn up field very easily. That's a picture perfect throw. Play it back one more time. And where again, you're like, man, okay. But if you're watching his eyes, does he really make any reads here? Or is he kind of staring it down the whole time, basically? Which might be an issue. Good punch out by Tennessee there, or attempt to. All right, next play I'm looking for is at 36 seconds in the third. It actually, like I said, comes on a 4th and 2. We'll start from the 40 seconds here. So here we are, shotgun, clean pocket, going deep right, and a little behind, but a good ball. And that's what, guys, I'm skipping a lot of his Tennessee tape for right now, just because a lot of it was good. I'm telling you, if you want to watch the good tape of him, go watch Tennessee. I could care less about his run right here. Oh, that was the dime. I'm sorry. How did my notes were wrong? Oh, no, at 36 seconds, yeah. So this is the dime. From clean pocket. Again, at his own 20, let's watch how far the ball goes. We're 30 yards deep. That's a 40-yard downhill or downfield throw from a clean pocket. Looked good. And again, he probably could have put it further, but he really didn't want to miss his guy. the Tennessee tape shows on a lot of his sailed throws, if you can clean up his footwork, which again, maybe sitting for a year he would, this kid would absolutely be in the top 5 consideration, in my opinion. If he could just clean up a little bit of his issues. The real tape, though, we're going to break down that I watched today a little bit, and I feel like I was just better caffeinated today, is we're going to watch him versus Kentucky. Let me get my notes here. So 14-24. Throw is going to be slightly behind. He's pressured and takes a low shot, too. So Kentucky bringing some pressure. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people coming. Takes a low shot at these. That's a flag in the NFL. Oh, hold on. I don't have the actual film up. Sorry. And that's what I'm saying. Joe Stevens said, I really don't like his accuracy. That's my problem, Joe, is a little bit of footwork issue. Like I said, if he could clean up some of that footwork issue, Anthony Richardson would absolutely, in my opinion, be deserving of a top 5 pick. I'll back this up like 5 seconds here. So here we have University of Kentucky ranked 20th, Florida 12th. He's going to get pressured, 6 men coming. And like I said, this is going to be a low blow. You're going to see Anthony Richardson take a shot to his knees here at the top of my screen. Definitely a flag in the NFL. For all my viewers, thanks for coming in. Like, subscribe. Let me know who your team is if you're here. This is going to be our last film tape for Richardson before we move on to one of my favorites, Hendon Hooker of Tennessee. Absolute low blow. Little behind his wide receiver on the throw, but nothing terrible. Next note here, 14-09. He sails one again, but this is a good read. So here he is. He's kind of staring here a little bit, but, not much else to read. It's 3 people. This is basically a stick concept at the top side of your screen. Very easy read. Basically, keep your eyes in one spot, and you can make 3 reads in one shot. So right there, he looks to the smaller under guy, looks back deep, sees his guy, got the inside leverage here, if you can see that. So let's watch that wide receiver from the start. It's basically just going to be a post. But he secures the inside leverage. He's basically stride for stride with him. But as you can see, he sails it. I really expect a top 5 quarterback to kind of really be hitting that throw consistently, if you get what I mean. So let me see. Next one, 13-57. So low snap here. He's going to roll out right. Nothing really here. Gets the ball away. Makes a good decision. So here's going to be another one. 3rd and 10. He's going to sail another ball on us, which we'll try to pay attention a little bit to his footwork here. You got a 5 wide look here from Florida. I know I'm blocking some of the wide receivers there on the screen. 5 wide look. Good drop. Good base right here. It's all looking good. He's got a guy here, but the defensive back's coming, But this is one of those ones, again, I feel like he's staring down. He sails the ball. Let's try to watch his eyes a little bit, guys. Let me know what y'all think if you can watch this. Let's try to watch his eyes on this throw. And this is, again, where if I could get an all 22 camera angle, I would absolutely love it. Because sometimes being able to have that view directly behind the quarterback allows you to really kind of see his head movement a little better. So off snap, kind of just read in the middle of the field, moving to the right. And like I was saying, he kind of never stops looking, I feel like, here. And delivers. But, the DB, the safety here, doesn't really play this the best. He's got inside leverage. Probably could have not had to throw his ball so far because he looks like he's got plenty of distance here. But just off the tip of his guy's fingertips, and unfortunate, could have been another good throw here to start this game for Anthony Richardson and the University of Florida. But let me see. Next one, 11-42. So this is a good throw, but it's kind of an easy throw, guys. So this is one of those ones doesn't show you much. Because, I mean, like, pretty clean pocket. Guy jumps here. Right on the money. Hits his guy kind of in stride. Guy falls. Almost drops it. Nothing really impressive there. That's a routine throw that you expect the quarterback to hit. So this is actually going to be a really good throw. So he's got a one-on-one on the opposite side hash mark. So he's at the top side of the screen. Throw's going to be to this bottom side wide receiver right here in man-on-man coverage. He's going to be throwing based upon the receiver's leverage and basically because he knows he's got a one-on-one matchup. So let's watch this go down real quick. Here's the throw. Good air underneath of it. And, his wide receiver really did him a disservice. But that is a great understanding where your wide receiver is, the leverage, the space to the outside, the leverage of the DB on inside. So you could float that ball over the back shoulder, basically. And, I mean, great throw. His wide receiver, like I said. Now, again, let's take a look. Look at the base when he's letting this ball go. Look at the bend of the front knee. He throws a good ball. His wide receiver doesn't make a good catch. Stands up a little bit, but you don't see that jerk movement. Still got a decent bend on the knee. Good air. His wide receiver just didn't track the ball well enough and get to the outside. I think that's a good throw. I don't put that on him. Baltimore Gunny says in chat, who would you rather have, Trey Lance or Anthony Richardson? I'm telling you, I'm taking Anthony just because Trey Lance's injury history scares me a little bit. But I think it's in essence almost like Lamar's. It's not really his fault. So I haven't done enough study on Trey Lance to truly make that decision. I wish I had some of my Niner guys in here. They definitely answer that question for us. Wow, so my next note actually doesn't come till 4:02 in the first. So we're going to kind of just let this play a little bit. Quarterback run up the middle. I hate seeing those. Joe Stevens said he'd take Trey Lance. Yeah, Joe's at least seen a little bit of Trey. So here's our next throw, 4:02, coming in the waning seconds of the first quarter. A 2nd and 7. And again, this is going to be a beautiful throw. Like, Kentucky only brings 4. Having to roll right. And, like, look at that. That is beautiful throw on target, onto a position. That's what you want to see. I would have loved to have seen a little better coverage from Kentucky. It's kind of a little bit of an easy throw with the zone coverage. But, sometimes you got to take it. Little bit of a high throw, but if you actually go back and watch it on this throw, guys, even though the throw's a little high, pay attention to the outside edge defender here at the top of the screen. They're realizing, some of these throws, and so he's going to jump for the ball and has a hand up. So he's got to fit this ball over these guys. So that's why this ball's high. That's not counted in the sail balls, in my opinion. 3rd and 5 here still in the first. And again, this one you could argue maybe a little high, but that's his wide receiver's fault. He delivers a strike for the first down on a little curl route, and it just goes right through his receiver's hands. This is one of my longer notes. Want to double check something here. So this is one of the throws. I was like on 2nd and 10. Now he's got a blitz coming. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 guys coming from the left side of his left side that are coming unblocked. I don't know if he sees it, but he feels it. So this ball, he knows he has to get away. He's kind of got a guy out here. And again, he's going to kind of sail this one. This is one of the ones I want him to hit this throw as a top 5 quarterback, but I don't, really take too much away from him for missing it. But he really sails one here. So here on a 3rd and 10, 14:01 on the clock is a good example, again, of a combine throw drill. However, he does stare this throw down. So let's watch here. One time full speed. Beautiful little rolled out there, basically, if I'm not mistaken. Let's watch the wide receiver run it. Oh, oops, I hit back again one more time. Sorry. Watch that seam route one more time. So let's watch that out route here at the top of the screen. Yep, just like a little out route. And, good throw. Looks like literally at the combine drill as he's getting hit in the back. But as I mentioned, he stares this ball down. Let's pay attention now. Like I said, we could just literally flip through some of these plays like 5 times over. He stares this ball down, guys. Right there. He's already on snap. Not even 2-3 yards deep while staring this out route. A good corner in the NFL will snag this ball from him. Or there will be someone dropping underneath that will snag this ball from him. But he never moves his eyes off of that out route. But good delivery. Is this I think it's this one or the next one. Next throw. So this is a decent throw. His wide receiver missed a little behind his wide receiver, but nothing terrible. I have a note here, not really on Anthony Richardson, but I wanted to highlight this in the tape. This is a horrible illegal hands to the face by the University of Kentucky on a Florida offensive lineman. It's either going to be the center or the left guard here that is missed, I think, by the officials. Look at that. Freeze frame. Yeah, the left guard of the University of Florida. Ooh, poor dude. Look at his head. Snap back, hand clearly on his face mask, basically, just pushing his head back. And once again, Anthony sails another ball, though. Kind of what again, that's what I see. I see tons of balls being sailed. So next one doesn't come till 2:53 in the second. I'm going to jump through some of these tapes just because later tape's going to take a little longer since I don't have my notes done. Why can I not go past 2:49? Is this the interception? Did I get my timing wrong? Okay, no, they were showing another game. All right, so here's going to be an interception. And it shows that Kentucky understood. So basically, they switched to a quicker passing game to protect Richardson. And Kentucky understood the assignment, and they made the adjustments themselves. So there was a good adjustment by Florida, but then there was a better adjustment here by Kentucky. So let's watch the interception. They understand that they moved to a quick passing game and just easy interception for University of Kentucky. Yeah, at 14:06 in the second, you could tell that Florida made some adjustments to move to quicker passes. But then, like I said, Kentucky made some good adjustments themselves. This next throw is going to be a bad throw. So here we are at 13:03 in the third quarter. And again, this is going to show a little bit of the bad tape of Anthony Richardson. He's never going to look back left on this play, guys. If I'm not, make sure I might have my timelines around here, but his halfback is literally going to be like begging for the ball. Florida's up. No reason. I mean, it's 3rd and 9, but just watch. We'll freeze in here in a minute. So immediately his eyes go right. He's never looking back left. Still looking right. Still looking right. Pressured. Now, again, I understand not looking left at this point, but still looking right. Rolling right. Finally looks somewhere else other than the original, but it's probably at the defender. And why I'm saying his halfback was begging for this ball. So obviously, these guys are retreating. He's watching. He's probably just got the first down coverage in his zone. Looks like all zone because he's getting eyes on. They're just letting him go. So at this point, there's no one probably even close. And the halfback, look at him jumping. He's kind of covered by my subscriber thing here. He's literally jumping, yelling probably for Anthony to just give him that ball back. He's looking at the field, seeing there is nothing. Finally starts moving, but it's way too late. One of my notes here in this game, though, was he looked very accurate at or behind the line of scrimmage when they did move to the quick screen game and these shorter passes to protect him. So at behind the line of scrimmage, very accurate. Kind of reminded me, like I said, of RG3 when he was with the Redskins. We're going to jump here. Is that 3:36 in the third or 3:36 in the fourth? I think 3:36 in the third. Just to make sure, though. Oh, it is 3:36 in the third. Yeah, he throws a really ugly interception right here in the third quarter, too, of this game. His second interception. So we're at 3:38, third quarter. It's a 16-16 game, 1st and 10. You got trips, 5 wide, trips left. Immediately. Like, why I say this is an ugly interception, guys, I have no clue what he's thinking. It's a 1st and 10. Kentucky is only bringing 3 on this one. They are saying daring him to throw the ball, basically. He's got a very clean pocket. I don't know if this was a miscommunication between him and the wide receivers or what, but he's throwing this ball, looks like, here as like a curl route. The wide receiver just starts to look back for the ball. I think this was, of course you have here, looks like a curl or like a little short in, maybe like a crosser, an in, and maybe something deeper here. Looks like a deep route, post, corner, or go. Probably a post, my guess, with this being a go route. And he just, again, and he throws the ball so quickly as well as my problem here. Like, insanely quickly. From a very clean pocket. And if this is a curl route, that's not the coverage I want to throw against a curl route. Because he's already sitting where the route's supposed to go. And again, he throws it so quickly while this guy's watching him. Look, he's got eyes on already. He's already breaking for this ball. This guy doesn't even notice. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, I guess he's like peering out of the side of his head. I don't know what this guy is doing. Everyone else on the field knows what's going on. This guy's like, this is where I stand. Like he just looked back at the quarterback. What is this guy doing? I have no clue. Not a clue. This guy knows what's up. This guy's not going to get drafted, probably. This guy has serious potential. Because that's in a zone corner, I'm telling you, that's what I want to see. I want to see him be able to react on a short route. But of course, he might have got burned if that was a double move. But ugly, ugly interception there for Richardson. However, like I said, though, this was supposed to be, guys, his worst game on film. So it's one of those ones, like I said, University of Georgia didn't show anything great, but he wasn't terrible. He was overmatched. University of Tennessee looked really good, still sailed a few balls, but looked really good. Looked like maybe a top 5 quarterback. All right, I should say maybe top 15 quarterback. Kentucky made him look like a second round quarterback slightly. And that's why my grade on Anthony Richardson is a lower first round quarterback. I could definitely see a team, or as a GM, I would be comfortable trading into the back end of the first round to ensure that I got a 5th-year option on him. So if I took him at potentially like pick 28, I would not be, like trading up my second round pick. Let's actually do the math here. NFL trade chart. So check in chat row while I'm going to my trade chart here. Gunny says, if the Panthers select Anthony Richardson, good luck with that. Yeah, MJD's latest mock draft did have the Panthers taking Richardson, according to, some comments that Frank Wright made about him. However, I think it's entirely a smokescreen. I think they're just trying to build up some stock. I don't really know why, though, but I think it's just hype. Joe Stevenson says, Levi, go check out Jack Campbell. That's my dream linebacker for this draft. Oh, yeah, the Iowa kid. Oh, yeah. I think he was like, he was the, what's the linebacker of the year award in college football? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won that award. I expect him to be like a second or third round pick. Absolutely. I love the dude. I already know who you're talking about. Let's go back. So, linebackers. That's my offensive line notes. That was our show we did doing power rankings. Did linebackers go before? I was trying to see if I had my linebacker notes, but I don't see them. Yeah, Jack Campbell, though, if I'm not mistaken, I thought he performed well in drills, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, he was one of the fastest 3-cone drills. And I highlighted his, even though I think there was only a few people that did 3-cone drills, his 3-cone drill was a 6.74, which indicates approximate he's basically on the list of top performers all time of the drill. So Jack Campbell actually shows, the Butkus Award. Thank you, Joe Stevens. So he was the Butkus Award winner, showed really good change of direction, and he's actually a little bit of a bigger dude, if I remember, one of those more traditional 250 guys. I really like him. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I wouldn't mind him in Baltimore to be Patrick Queen's potential groom replacement. But I think there's going to be quite a few linebackers that are really enticing because, of course, a lot of interest is in the Nolan kid from Georgia. But if you're going, in my opinion, if you're going to consider him, I think you got to take a hard look at the University of Auburn kid, Pappoe, Pappoe, I believe his name is. Dude, man, balled out at the combine. I mean, he was just breaking the numbers. Basically was at the top in almost everything. But the real surpriser for Pappoe, whatever his name is, I'm going to say it's Pappoe. Not only was he fast, jumped good, let me see here. He was a top performer in the 10-yard split.
top performer in the 40-yard dash, top performer in bench press, and I believe he did really well in his broad and vertical jumps. But he led the way at the combine for linebackers with 29 total reps at 225, which at like, I think he weighs 229, so he's a kind of smaller linebacker. That was extremely impressive to watch. Shout out to Papo. If I say your name wrong, I am so sorry. But so like for Richardson, maybe New Orleans at pick 29. And if you wanted to trade up to that 640, it would be like a second and a third. So basically using your one of your third round picks to push up your second round pick to get into the first round. So you have 2 first rounds instead of a first and a second. And basically all you're really giving up is your third round pick. I could see that absolutely happening for Anthony Richardson. Joe Stevens says, I think he looks better than Drew Sanders. Yeah, see, Drew Sanders. So one of the problems with Drew Sanders, the University of Arkansas linebacker, by the way, shout out to my Razorbacks. As some people know, I used to be the charter coordinator at the University, or XNA, which is where University of Arkansas is at. So it was my job to help bring in the teams to play University of Arkansas. Drew Sanders played at University of Alabama and transferred out to Arkansas. I don't know exactly why he transferred from Alabama, but I think he didn't like the competition, which in my opinion might be a slight flag that he couldn't beat these better guys, so he transferred. If I remember correctly, like he didn't look as good as I thought he should have looked at the combine. But I think he did pretty well. Gunny says he's called a night. Good analyst. Later. Thanks, Gunny. Thanks for dropping in. Have a good night. Joe Stevens says Seahawks. We have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. I know, my dude. I remember Joe. I sent you on Twitter the picture. I think of basically your draft capital and your ability to change your team is ridiculous. And you've got 2 5th-round picks, which is, in my opinion, kind of something. I like to have 2 picks somewhere in that like 3rd to 5th range. Honestly, I really like it, especially the 4th round. I think 4th round is where you find a lot of really good talent in the draft. Yeah, what's crazy is your 2 second-round picks, Joe Stevens. If you were to combo them together, have a combined value of 910, which is worth approximately the 17th to the 18th pick in the first round. So it's one of those ones like, bro, I mean, if you packaged your early second and your third, which you never would because you never want 3 first-round picks. Let's get that straight. I mean, man, like Joe. Oh, we got Brian in the chat. Welcome, Brian. We're about to get back to we're actually about to get to Hendon Hooker. Or wait, Brian, are you one of my DTR guys? I think you're one of my DTR guys, if I remember right. I'd trade number 5 for a first this year and next year. See, and that's the thing. It depends on who you trade with, what the approximate value of the first next year would be. So let's say Seattle feels comfortable trading from 5. Likely candidate for the trade, Tennessee. The trade deficit between number 5 and number 11 approximately would be, what's that? 450 points. 450 points straight value is worth the 45th overall pick in the second round. So of course most teams would probably not want to give you a second round pick as well, which Tennessee's would be worth a little more. So to get that value, it would probably, you could gain at least a 3rd round pick plus maybe a future 3rd round pick. Or you could just do flat out a second in the future plus maybe a fourth to sixth round pick. Like we've talked about a little bit, Joe, after the fourth pick in the NFL draft, according to most trade charts, the value drops dramatically on and actually I'll give you a little bit of a preview here. You can't see it because it's so zoomed out, but I have Seattle's picks highlighted here on green, where they're at in the draft and their value according to the draft trade value chart. Shout out to Brian Culp. If you haven't, he's one of our 49er fans that does content as well. Check out his YouTube if you haven't already. Brian Culp in chat says, I think Brandon Ayuk could be traded to the Giants for their first round pick. Let me see. Giants are picking 25th overall. Value 720. I mean, maybe. I want to double check Brandon Ayuk's numbers from last season. Because I don't want to get it twisted now. I like to always look at my stats. Stats don't tell everything, but they tell a good bit. I got to go to see all his stats. So he's played in 12 games or more since starting rookie season. Okay. He's always had at least basically 85 targets and at least 56 catches. Shown progression and growth. Okay. 1,000-yard receiver. Okay. I like it. Got to check one more number that's important to me. Okay. 4.540. It's not a terrible. And then what's his size? That's important. 6'2", 4.5. Oh yeah. I mean, I'd be comfortable with that. And he's shown solid progression. First round pick, late first round pick. Let me see. I know a good person to compare this to. We're going to take a look here at A.J. Brown. Is who we're going to try to compare this to. Yeah, because the Titans traded Brown to the Eagles on April 28th in exchange for the number 18 overall pick and number 101 overall picks in the 2022 draft. So basically, what, a first and a third, basically, for A.J. Brown is what the Tennessee got. Let's double check. So, of course, he had, in his first 3 years, had this about the same amount of targets, less receptions, with approximately the same yards, with actually showing a third-year regression. 6'1", 226, so about same height, actually a little heavier. And if I remember, A.J. Brown ran, I think, around a 4.540 as well. Yeah, 4.49. So basically a 4.540. Yeah, I think that's a fair trade, honestly. If you're actually really comparing for Brian Culp, you could probably, based looking at the A.J. Brown trade, you could actually get more value potentially out of Brandon Ayuk if you traded him. I know you said Giants at 25. The previous pick that the Eagles did, I think it said it was 18, meaning somewhere between, if you were to be honest and looking for a trade partner for Brandon Ayuk, you could respectively probably look somewhere between pick 18 and then the end of the first round. Of course, big partners potentially being like Buffalo, New York, and Jacksonville. Maybe even Minnesota potentially, but with the them losing what's his name? Thielen potentially. But I think they want their first round pick. I think New York is a great choice for what you're looking at. Um, with that though, they wouldn't have to potentially trade the third because they traded 101 overall, which no, that's a comp pick in the third round, so a very late third. So 18 and 101 would be 996 value. Um, I mean, man, again, at that point, you could get good value. You could potentially get New York's pick and maybe a third round pick. So you could potentially get a first and a third for Brandon Ayuk in a best case scenario. Yeah, it's one of those ones with having to pay Bosa in this next year. Purdy or Lance, whichever one you do decide to keep coming in the next 2 or 3 years, whichever one it is. And then Brandon Ayuk, I believe you took him first round, I think. If not, you have 4 years. If you did 5 year, because a 5th year option, he's got 3 years under the belt, meaning this is his 4th year, meaning you have to exercise 5th year if he is a first round pick. Um, you might struggle because you did pay Debo to also pay Ayuk, which is unfortunate. And if you have to let him walk for a comp pick, you can't get anything better than a third. So it definitely would be better to just go ahead and trade him. I hate to be that guy, but and see, the thing is, I think why you might be hesitant as the 49ers, we talked about a little bit earlier yesterday on some of the channels. This wide receiver class, despite some hype now, past those first few guys, isn't seen as good of a class as past years. In past years, the general consensus from scouts was that there were a bunch of first round wide receivers. From what I've heard, whispers in the wind, there's actually truly talent wise only one wide receiver that deserves a first round grade, and then that's Jackson Smith and Njiba from Ohio State. However, due to the lack of the depth in the draft, a poor free agency class, and limited trade market for free agency, everyone desperately needs a wide receiver. So you might see some of these guys kind of reaching in the first round a little bit for wide receivers, and then potentially a big drop and fall off after that. So if you could get a first round pick like New York's at 25, you might still be able to go get somebody. I think a big bodied wide receiver would be a great selection. Having someone like Debo and McCaffrey that can do a lot of your underneath work. From my understanding, Debo Samuel is an excellent route runner that has a good separation. I don't think he's an overly huge guy. But so case in point, if you went and got someone like Quentin Johnson from TCU, who's like 6'3" to 6'5", I don't think the other wide receivers really fit your mold. I think y'all would really want a big outside guy. But of course, I'm not a 49ers expert. Yeah, it's one of those ones, you're probably better off keeping him and making your Super Bowl run and then maybe doing the trade next year. But of course, value for 2 years versus 1 year on like probably 18 to $20 million on the 5th year option, maybe like 12 million. Not as enticing to a team. A team would rather have him for a 2 year window now. It's rough. I would probably take the deal, to be honest with you. You land another first round wide receiver that hopefully can fill that. I mean, and if you're really looking at it, Brandon Ayuk being 6 foot 200, Jordan Addison could fill that role potentially, who's known as a route runner. A little bit of injury issues there. If you want to go smaller, you could go Zay Flowers, who's really highly talented as well. It's just really tough there. But being able to get and see, the Niners definitely don't need any third round picks. You have 3 third round picks already. And like I said, your compensation would be a third round. So maybe potentially taking a future pick. But I don't know if they would be able to willing to trade a first and second for Brandon Ayuk. And I don't know if you want a future third round pick. It's definitely going to be an interesting one. Joe Stevens says in chat, show the tape of Jack Campbell. I think I've fallen in love with a prospect. Dude, there's a reason he won the award. He slightly reminds me of those old school linebackers. And even though at the combine, I don't think he looked as good, you heard the analyst, just go watch the tape. Just watch the tape on him. He's a leader. There is a reason he won the Dick Butkus Award. Currently, Joe, I am planning to show linebackers on Sunday, is what I'm aiming to do. Technically, wide receivers and tight ends were supposed to be today. Quarterbacks was supposed to be done yesterday. I'm sorry if I've fallen behind a little bit on that. I know I should take certain players and highlight them more individually. I'm also trying to cover. Let me see. Where did it go? Where did I have topic 8 being discussed? Topic 8. So tomorrow, what I might do in film coverage, guys, since I'm already behind, I wanted to highlight players that are, I'm going to put in an Excel spreadsheet, player visits, teams that visited their pro days, stuff like that. Basically, an Excel spreadsheet showing interest in players from different teams so that we can hopefully show on a spreadsheet, really who these teams might be targeting in later rounds, who might be trade targets. And with that being said, I'll pay special emphasis to the 49ers, the Bills, the Seahawks, and of course my Ravens. And maybe tomorrow we'll spend our draft coverage focusing more on that than anything else. Oh, Bryant, you're fine, man. I'm just trying to get started here. And Brian, I originally wanted to start my draft coverage months ago because I wanted to basically just cover 2 to 3 guys per day so that I wasn't feeling so overwhelmed trying to cover so many different topics and so many different players. I got behind. That's my own fault. And, so I don't mind just talking, it's fun and all. I'm just, Chimera's in the chat. Welcome back, Chimera. Says he can't stay long. I have to write an essay, but I meant to ask you a question that's been going around lately. Who wins, every Pokemon or 1 billion lions? All right, Chimera, this is the easiest question I've been asked in my life, actually. Believe it or not. Does every Pokemon win or 1 billion lions? I'll take 1 billion lions versus a Magikarp. Got him! Magikarp only knows Splash. He can't use it, at least when I'm an old school Pokemon player. Magikarp can only use Splash, nothing else. Magikarp would be a tasty meal for 1 lion, let alone 1 billion lions. Boom! Got him. Joe Stevens says, me too. He says, Bryant's a jerk. No, we like our 49er fans here in the chat. Joe Stevens says, Detroit has never won. Are we talking 1 billion actual Lions or Lions player? I guess that's an interesting note. I don't know. Magikarp might beat a Lions player. Depends if they're in water. Yeah, the Lions. You know what, Joe? Let me pose the counter argument to my argument why Magikarp could still beat 1 billion lions, because Magikarp is a fish, and fish are bony, and the lion would eat the Magikarp, and a bone would get stuck in the lion's throat, and it would die of suffocation or a puncture of its esophagus. And therefore, even though the lion ate the Magikarp wins in the end because he killed the lion too, like a self-destruct from an electrode. Boom! So Magikarp beats 1,000,000,000 lions. Oh, every Pokemon. Okay. Dude, every Pokemon. That's not it. Alakazam would smash easily like half of those lions, probably. Like Alakazam just put him a bubble and it's over. Alakazam's physical kinetic barrier can take like Hyper Beam. What the heck is a Hyper Beam? Let's classify real quick, guys. Sorry to get off topic here. Weird Pokemon topic on the podcast. But what is a Hyper Beam? If anything but like pure energy. That's like radiation. It's like a radiation beam. If Alakazam can reflect that, a lion jumping is never going to get through his barrier. Just saying. What happens when Jigglypuff just starts singing, my guy? Jigglypuff gonna put everyone to sleep. You know? A lion don't know to cover his ears. A lion gonna hear that song even better. Easy. Yeah, even if you took all the legendary Pokemon out, you know, all the legendary birds, all the legendary dogs, cats, whatever, you know. Chimera, you have no idea actually how much this really connects to me, and Joe knows a little bit. I have two people I know. One is one of my friends, and he actually placed in like the top 5 or top 10 at the Pokemon World Finals card game, like a year or two ago, I think, pre-COVID, I think. Actually, now that I think about it, and I'm here in Florida with someone that has a Mewtwo wrap on their car. Let's just put it like that. And that Joe Stevens said, like he said, Pokemon is fictional, so it's you know interesting. Joe Stevens said, Levi, this turned into Big Bang Theory. Oh, am I overanalyzing the Pokemon argument? Probably. Some people online unironically tried to argue in favor of lions. Yeah, fiction versus nonfiction. Which one's going to come out on top? I'm going to probably argue always for the fiction. But, you know. All right. We're going to get a little bit more back on topic. We're going to go to our Hinder Hooker coverage. Honestly, I am so tired, guys. What time is it? 8:30. You know what? No, we're going to Todd Monken coverage. Wait, what's Sip2 Tally got going on right now? Hold on, I want to check out this guy's live. I found another Baltimore content creator. Okay. Wow, he got 8,000 subscribers. Interesting. Honestly, I'm halfway tempted to end my coverage here for tonight and just start tomorrow nice and fresh. I did want to actually, though, I said I was going to go over Todd Monken's offense. I got to go over Todd Monken's offense before I end the stream for today. So please give me one moment while I get those up. All right. So we're going to go over a few articles, I think, here more than anything. Let's see. Cut out some of the sides. Crop each side like 500. See if that helps. I could still probably crop right a little more. All right. So, what can we truly expect out of the Todd Monken offense? And we're going to kind of talk a little bit here about 3 different articles that mention the offense. I couldn't find. I'm gonna try to find it one more time. Personnel packages, University of Georgia percentages. I don't think there's something that's gonna give me try to find something here. All right. So the past season, the 2 national championship games participants, LSU and Clemson, both were top 20 in the FBS in what's called 11 personnel usage, guys. So when you say basically 11 personnel, what it's referring to, that like they have this weird saying. So 11 personnel means 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers on the field. They can be moved a bunch of different ways, and they refer to personnel groups as 10 through 22. So 10 and 11 have 1 running back. I'm sorry, 10 through 13 all have 1 running back. 20 through 22 have 2 running backs. 10 through 13, the difference, of course, being tight ends and wide receivers. 10 starting with 0 wide receivers. So if you hear 10, you're basically saying 4 wide with a halfback. So a shotgun set, 4 wide. Easy. 11, now 1 tight end. 12, 2 tight ends. 13, 3 tight ends. Pretty easy. Basically, your first number is your halfback. Your second number is your tight ends. Really easy to understand that. Keeping the same idea with 20s. So 2 running backs. So 20 is 2 running backs, 0 tight ends, 3 wide receivers. 21 package is a 2 running back, 1 halfback, 2 wide receivers, so on and so forth. So University of Georgia is supposedly really known for running the 11 personnel package, basically. I think it was basically considered their base personnel package for the past 2 championship runs. And of course, Stetson Bennett and Todd Monken were the offensive coordinator and quarterback for both of those. Let's go to chat here real quick. Yeah, I'm trying to get on a schedule too, though. Chimera says I need to get some sleep. I'm trying to. So I'm on a really weird late night schedule right now, guys. Because my girlfriend doesn't go into work until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So my new schedule is I'm trying to be up with her, like 1:30 or so, just hang out with her, get ready, whatever. She leaves for work around 3. Basically after 3, I'm starting to try to get back in some good shape myself. Not quite football shape, but I am trying to get close to that. So I'm trying to hit the gym from like 3:30 to 4:30 for my first workout of the day. Come back. I'm trying, keyword trying, to get my stream started by 5:30 p.m. every day Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to then spend at least 2 hours every day till the NFL draft, streaming from 5:30 to at least 7:30. From 7:30 to 9:30, I have planned on my schedule for basically trying to plan and write the next 2 hours of show for the next day. Um, Girlfriend usually gets home somewhere around 9:30. She wants to start going to the gym as well. So from 9:30 till like midnight is kind of like prepping our dinner, doing household chores, kind of also just spending time with her, watching shows, playing games, whatever she wants to do, just spending quality time together. Then we go to the gym around midnight. We do at least a minimum 1.5 hour workout. So if we're on schedule for everything, we're out of the gym by 1:30 a.m. Uh, Come home, have dinner at like 1:30 in the morning after a shower, so closer to 2. And then basically go to bed and start it all over. If she wants to play a little bit, then. But so right now, man, dude, my bedtime is like normally like 5:30 in the morning. So God forbid, I had like the other day, I had to get up at I had a 8:45 DMV appointment to do a car registration, and I went to bed at 5:30 in the morning. And then, of course, I couldn't really go back to sleep. So that's why I keep stressing to her. I'm like, guys, we got to get some blackout curtains, because if you're going to be on this late night schedule kind of thing, and of course, I'm thinking about starting school back here in the fall. So starting in the fall, I've got to redo my whole schedule around probably like 9:30 a.m. classes. So I'm not going to be doing that. Whatever. But yeah, Chimera, I'm trying to get more sleep. I've just always had a horrible sleep schedule. In the airlines, I used to go to work at like 3:30 in the morning, 4:30 sometimes, get off like at 1 in the afternoon at best if I didn't have any planes that were delayed. And then I would work overnight security as well. So I'd then go into work, like 5 p.m., get off 1 a.m., 2 a.m., something like that. Thank you, Brian. Again, this is one of those ones I wanted to do all of this a little earlier. So apparently Georgia had one of the better run blocking tight ends in the country. And you're going to see, apparently Georgia likes to run an offense based around a tight end, which is why Todd Monken also made a lot of sense to bring him to Baltimore, because apparently he's really good at getting the most out of his tight ends. So apparently in the game against Auburn, they took advantage of number 24 Daniel Thomas of Auburn, who likes to keep his eyes in the backfield, and they ran a lot of run inside, like a split zone run inside. So split zone is what we've already seen from the Baltimore Ravens a good bit, where you have the tight end essentially coming back across the field on a block. And they used that a lot. So in 2019, Georgia threw for 58% of its snaps in 11 personnel. So a pretty good run pass from that option. The national average was 59, so they were right on par with that. Basically, what they're trying to do in the 11 personnel is get them to bring an extra DB on the field and really exploit the depth of the corners. Basically, the big thing too is it seems Todd Monken really moves the tight end around the formation. Like the tight end is the biggest one that moves around, and uses them also sometimes to free up the wide receivers and create extra time, which I don't know how happy Mark Andrews is going to be about that, but hopefully he'll get some good blocking. See if I can get this to see if I can get this even bigger. See, transform, edit, transform. We're going to keep cropping until we get a nice big picture here in the middle of these. Yeah, it's just about right. 950. Perfect. Now we're going to crop right, maybe 950. We could even go to 1,000 on the right. crop a good bit on top and bottom to help blow this up more. Let's see, can I go 500? We can. Beautiful. All right. So this is going to constantly run. Please ignore it, but also pay attention. So this is what they're kind of talking about here, with a little bit of an inline formation on the tight end, which means, of course, he's not on the line of scrimmage, and basically talking about the different types of blockings that you can get out of it. Sorry, here's where they're talking about it. His usage of 12 personnel. So which of course 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back. I expect to see a lot of this in Baltimore 12 personnel. This was their most common second personnel group. 20% of their plays came from the 12 personnel group. He used to run 12 personnel more, apparently, in his 3 years as Tampa Bay. So it seems he actually moved a little bit away at the University of Georgia from running 2 tight ends. We saw a lot with 2 running backs, 1 tight end. So again, when we say 2 running backs, basically imagine Patrick Ricard as the second running back. A lot of misdirection plays, like you can see right there that it's showing. Fake one way, it goes the other way. I would not mind handing the Ricard off. So instead of running what we see sometimes, these option plays for Lamar, let's not run Lamar. Dude, no one wants to tackle Patrick Ricard. Patrick Ricard's not slow either. He's not terribly slow. I wouldn't mind on like that handoff, bro. So let's watch this back one more time. 4 takes it to the left. Watch number 7, though, going right from the backfield. No one really goes. I'd hand that ball to Patrick Ricard on this exact play against Arkansas State. If the ball was handed, yes, that guy was there, but he was engaged with an offensive lineman. That's a positive run to Patrick Ricard. Right here. Boom. I'd say that's minimum 3 yards, if not 10, in my opinion, with a 300-pound fullback dragging a linebacker. I would love to see that because, of course, no one's going to expect that. And then after it does happen, now it's not Lamar taking the hit potentially if a linebacker or safety comes screaming down that side because they watched film. It's a safety or linebacker catching Patrick Ricard who's going to level them and put them on their butt. Which, of course, then Dobbins can hopefully do exactly what I believe that's Kirby right there did for the University of Georgia. So here they're highlighting a little bit of the pass catching. They put James Cook out there on the edge. Had 25 targets. And again, ran a screen game basically out there. I want to see Dobbins doing that. I think Dobbins has more than enough route running skills to do this. Running the 10 offense. So 1 running back, 0 tight ends, 4 wide receivers. See. Yeah, Georgia ran a total of 14 plays from the 10 personnel package. And the number's slightly high, inflated here, as you can see, due to some teams like Hawaii and such that run exclusively out of like 5 wide. Let me see here. I'm excited though because we do have 3 good tight ends. So during the Falcons' 2016 Super Bowl run, Matt Ryan was 35 for 43, 565 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, leading the league with a passer rating out of the 13 package. And I'm guessing, and this also comes, like they say here, a staple of the Kyle Shanahan offense. So we can expect to see maybe a little bit of this. And of course, like they said, they did a little bit of designating one of these extra tight ends as an extra offensive lineman. So maybe we'll see a little bit of versatility in Baltimore's offense, bringing in the extra offensive lineman in those true heavy sets. I like Todd Monken too. He had comments basically on the wide receiver group at the University of Georgia. He says, we lost Pickens last year, but in some ways, I feel like that made us better because we basically we didn't have an X, so we had to get creative on how we utilize it. And some of these formations, he used 4 tight ends for the offense. And he said even if you don't have that number 1, you still got to put up points enough to win the game. And it's about using everything, your backs, your tight ends, and a little bit of everything. I like his comments too. So he was asked a question, Todd Monken, on melding his offensive philosophy with Georgia's traditional style, because Georgia has always been a traditional running team. Um, and he responded, it's not really a rhetorical question. It's fair in the fact that I do like to throw it. Which of course Lamar wants to hear that. I think that people think that I don't like to throw it. He says I'm paid to score. I'm not paid to win, because he was the offensive coordinator, not the head coach. I'm paid to score. I'm not paid to win. It's as simple as that. So in his responsibility for scoring, um, he says we have to be explosive and utilize our personnel. And how you can run the ball to help you be explosive. You can't control the game if you can't run the ball comfortably. You can't. You cannot control the game. His words, guys, not mine. He says my background is wideouts and quarterbacks, so I don't want to throw it. I enjoy throw it, so I want to throw it. I enjoy throwing it. I don't know. I think honestly, I might call it though here soon, guys. I don't think I'm really going to get much more streamers in here today, and I'm just, I'm just trying to get more here on a routine schedule, and getting off here at this time would hopefully allow me some time to get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow, again, like I said, we're going to be covering draft visits and interests from teams, and trying to do an Excel spreadsheet to overlap and kind of show that. And then maybe we'll go into some film highlight of these people. Specifically, we'll even cover for Joe Stevens, our guy Jack Campbell from Iowa State, the Dick Butkus Award winner. And of course, now my viewers coming back. Like I'm getting two. It says I have 2 viewers now all of a sudden as I'm thinking about finalizing the stream up for today. That figures, of course. But All right, guys, I'm gonna call it for today. For anyone that did come in, I appreciate you dropping in for the today. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Uh, this was the official second episode of B Rave with D Rave, my new podcast featuring the covering a little bit about the Baltimore Ravens as well as a lot of draft stuff. We will hopefully be continuing it from here on out. I may post draft move to a weekly schedule just so that we can blip or bi-weekly schedule just so that we can better plan and have, actual images, videos pre-planned, pre-done, and just a better quality of content, in my opinion, for the stream and podcast. But with that, please drop back in tomorrow if you are there or if you are listening. We will be live again tomorrow, again covering team interest of draft prospects, as well as going through a little bit of footage of maybe quarterbacks and potential players that are requested by the chat. So if you haven't, come into chat. Tell me who you want me to look at. I know I got to do a kicking battle of Moody versus the Stanford kicker. I can't remember Carby or whatever his name is. But with that, guys, again, thank you all so much. D Rave